So that happened.
So we've met some of the natives, apparently, and apparently they're not all hostile.
It's true.
This one only immediately appeared to be curious.
But the question remains: is how might we communicate if we do not share a language?
There are those that are powerful in the ways of magic that could probably transcend this barrier. I'm afraid I cannot. I was able to reach out to her from spirit to spirit, but that's not the same as conveying words.
Well, this is true. Much conflict has arisen from misunderstood meanings.
And what happens right now, in the midst of this moment where you feel like you're growing in your attunement, we're going to, and this is a one-shot. I've done this in long-term campaigns, although it would be a thing that's very rare. We'll give you a permanent free bonus to your divination so that you're more in tune. So you can make your divination 2 now instead of 1. Yep. So anyway, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
No problem. So that means from a D4 to a D6?
Yep.
Excellent.
So we're still looking more along the trail then of our compatriots,
yep.
And I will return to the task at hand as far as that goes.
Cool.
I will return my helm to my head.
Next time we encounter something like that, ask of our numbers. You seem to have a better handle of being able to communicate with that thing than any of us.
I was not able to convey such complex messages. It was more of a general sense of goodwill between fellow travelers, I'm afraid.
Well,
almost like one would communicate with an animal. You cannot speak to an animal, but you can convey your intent. You can read its intent.
Noted of animal intelligence.
You definitely sensed to be a little more specific.
Did she speak at all?
She did not speak at all. To be a little more specific about her intentions, since you could feel it through the weave, you could sense that she was very curious. She also felt like you got this feeling that while she seemed by physical appearance to be like 10 or 12 years old, you got a feeling that she almost had like a very like motherly sort of, and that's obvious because of how the animals kind of flocked to her, but almost like bigger than just the animals, right? You had this sense that she was like this almost matriarch, is that you got that vibe, in an inexplicable kind of a way or something like that.
I can tell you that woman, that lady of the forest.
A child?
She's no child. She is much older than she appears, and she is important in this place. I cannot tell you how, but I know she is.
Nice.
Cosmetic applications.
Bonus points for being right without knowing it. All right. Cool. So what are you guys doing?
So
Continue with the mission.
I just want to follow the soldier's trail.
All right. So you guys continue on the trail, and you find as you're sort of continuing on, you find, and again, it was getting towards dusk, we said. So this is like kind of twilight when you saw her.
So we should be looking to set a camp, essentially.
Exactly. Yep.
Well, I know based on the manuals that I've read of how one would theoretically do that. So I will set my tent and such in such a way that I've been instructed once we find adequate place, or a place described by the manuals one might choose.
I will basically sit with my back to a tree, kind of stretch out, my hammer across my lap, my helm at my hip, and I will call forth through the power of creation a small, humble meal that I may partake of.
Nice.
The bread of the Blessed Trinity, and I offer to any who are willing or interested in being nourished both body and soul.
I'll take a pass on your triumvirate. I'll eat some of the rations I brought with me. Thank you very much.
I will have no problem sampling the bread. There are many different paths to enlightenment.
There you go. All right.
So I'll actually,
That is a thing. Oh, go ahead. What were you saying?
I said, my plan was, since he's tent on the ground, he's got it back against the tree. I'm actually gonna go up into the tree and like weave a netting in between some of the branches.
Perfect.
And that is one thing. I will pick a tree that like I'm within, so I can only teleport within 15 feet. So put my tent somewhere that like I can teleport 15 feet straight up if need be.
Yeah. So. Yep, that makes sense. Cool. And to put a note on it, there is a boon called Genesis for creating matter out of nothing. So you actually can do that. What you said is actually a rule. Just throwing it out there for not that it affects anything about it. You know what I mean? So you can create plant matter and that sort of thing and food. Cool. So
is there any sort of, since I'm probably versed in magics and that's my principal study, is there any sort of abjuration of non-detection that I can put about the camp?
Sure. I think non-detection, I think, is one of those things that I haven't quantified, but you can just roll an abjuration roll, that's fine.
Okay, sure. So that's a d20 plus 2d6.
Yep.
And hopefully this doesn't go wrong and I open a portal to a demon. Alright. Which it looks a little tits up here, so it's
You've created a beacon.
That's 13.
13. Well, 13 is sort of
middling.
Middling, exactly. So with a 13, you are able to. You believe that you've masked, and the question will just be how powerful or perceptive someone else might be.
Like a panther.
Yeah, like
Perhaps.
a panther, exactly.
Yeah.
But you think that you've created something of a shroud, magical shroud around you guys. So
So looking to, blur the visions and sense that are.
Yep. Well, I mean, some of that would be illusion, but yeah. Anyway, there's like not noticing, right?
Creating
you know
a
what I
veil.
mean? So yeah. But anyway, that's cool. We're good. So you guys. So what happens as you set up a watch? So I feel like in role playing games, always the watch thing gets a little bit like tired.
Overblown,
we'll skip over that for now. But you guys set a watch, and that's fine. And what happens though is as each of you is on watch that night, the thing that you notice is whenever you end up talking to Dave's character, you're able to sort of sync up and get more understanding about this. But basically, you recognize the same kind of that green energy that you saw like in the weave through your spiritual senses or something. It actually, you almost see like little flickers of it, kind of like a firefly or something like that, but not, because it's not shaped like a bug. It's almost like a little flash of light here and there, and you just see these kind of like pop off, not regular, like every 10 minutes, 20 minutes, not something that's happening like multiple times a minute or anything like that.
All right, since a lot of this is going on spiritually, and
but this is actually not, though. This particular thing I've just described is something that you see. So what I was saying is you guys also see it, but then he can relate to you. I meant the green color and the connection to the weave and stuff like that.
But while we're camping and resting and whatnot, like it's not just set up camp and sleep. There's time to kill and what have you.
Yep.
And my character is almost as spiritual as Uthin.
Yep.
So I wanted to, get into a conversation and see, not like, try to persuade him or have him try to persuade me, but see if using our combination of knowledge of creation magic and what have you, if there's anything that we might be able to do together, or how he can show me some of the stuff that he's seen and done within here.
Are you trying to understand or for your character to gain the knowledge that he has, or create something new? Like, I'm not sure about that.
Is this a Vulcan mind meld happening?
Yeah.
Is that where we're going with this?
Clearly he has gained some kind of advantage here by his understanding.
Yep.
I want to see if I can tap into that.
Okay, cool. All right, so what we'll do is we'll have you roll, and what we'll do is, because this is a weird thing where you're sort of starting at 0, and so for the supernatural attributes, this is an interesting thing about the game, is that the non-supernatural attributes you can roll even if you don't have any
I
ranks.
have creation 4.
Yeah, So hold on,
Okay.
I'm getting to that.
Oh, sorry.
So what I mean is, creation is the ability to sort of output energy, but what you're looking for, the thing is that he has divination and you don't. But what we're going to do is we're going to have you roll perception, and this perception roll is going to determine the gateway, because what I'm going to do is, if you succeed, you'll also gain a rank in divination. You'll gain one attribute in divination. So go ahead and roll. It's going to be hard though, because it's not easy for your character to bridge from no experience with the supernatural perception into it, but you have the advantage of your perception. So 7. So on a 7, tonight, we'll do. You can kind of repeat this, obviously, but today you try, and it's like a very hard barrier to go from natural perception into supernatural perception. And so, even with Dave's guidance, you're not able to accomplish it this night. You spend most of your night meditating and attempting to, and you feel like, given more time, you'll be close to some kind of a breakthrough or something like that.
Or a level.
Yeah.
A level.
Yeah.
What is
Nailed
your
it.
character's name again?
Shinjin.
Shinjin, no worries. It will come with time. You must open yourself to the Blessed Trinity. That is what has allowed me to merge with this world more completely, by opening myself up as a conduit to the Blessed Trinity. So it's love and benignness can flow into this world and flow and receive as well.
There are many things that your Trinity claims that are on the path to enlightenment. I am just not certain that it is the direct path.
Well, each to his own. In the afterlife, we shall know the truth. I do not judge.
Oh man, I love it. All right, so
I'm in there in my tent reading a book, rolling my eyes out of my skull. Yeah.
How did I get stuck with these two?
Freaking religious freaks. Yeah.
oh man. Alrighty, so you guys, so that's the evening, and so one other thing that I'll add, and you guys all sort of tag team this in terms of your observation and sharing between watches when you make the change and stuff like that. The green lights that you sort of spot, it takes a little while to notice, but you ultimately do that. Very strangely, they seem to come in pairs, and you feel like their eyes, actually, it's something that develops over time, over the night, as you're sort of each adding information. When you eventually become like almost on edge, waiting to see a set of them so that you can like spot it before it sort of blinks out.
So does it add to that sensation of feeling like we're being watched that we've had
absolutely.
like a day ago? Yeah.
Absolutely. So you can roll divination.
Okay.
Is that what you were going to say? Or?
Well, that, and I get the impression that this is at Uther's perception, that it is actually the lady of the jungle watching over us, and it actually makes me feel better.
Yep.
With the 13.
You actually, even though 13 is not a great roll, you actually already are inclined in that way, and you, from what you can tell from the spiritual energy about the thing, remember that before the weave has a sort of positive association, and then there was this sort of like negative. I think I might have said red at the time.
Yeah, you said red.
Yeah, but I think it should be more like a weird like purple color.
Okay.
Like sort of like a, imagine how like necromantic energy is often like purple or something like that. And so that, remembering that there's a positive and a negative, knowing that the eyes are green and that they connect with then the positive side, you're pretty confident in your assumption about that. So your divination roll confirms what you already think as far as you can tell. So
Yeah, so with that, I go to sleep with a peaceful smile on my face, believing that we are well attended to. Between the Blessed Trinity and the Lady of the Jungle, all is well.
there you go. Nothing to worry about, right?
Unless you don't mind someone lurking and looking at you while you're on the loo.
I'm here for completely benevolent reasons. So
All right.
I got no qualms.
Cool.
Well, that makes two of you.
Till the jungle monster eats your brain.
Then I fail in my mission, and the children don't have a new home.
So in the morning, roll a perception check to pick up the trail.
Our preceptor.
Yeah, our preceptor can our point person on that. 16. So you're able to pick up the trail. That's fine. You don't have a lot of trouble. As you're sort of orienting yourself back toward the point that you left off on, and you sort of here's where I thought they passed last, and you kind of are, you go left. In other words, sort of back whence you came, just for a moment. I don't know why you do this, but I decided that you do. One thing that you notice is that the trail seems a little different than how you left it, and you're like sure that this tree was not actually like directly in the path, but sort of like a few feet off the path when you went to when you last passed through here, and so you get a little bit of a creepy. Go ahead.
So if you're communicating this, can I logic this?
Sure, you can logic it,
or have my logic bent around this, perhaps. All right. So my logic is a 1, so that's a D4.
Yep.
All right. So that's a 16.
16. It defies all logic.
Oh, good. Just making sure.
So I don't think I need divination to know that magic is afoot here. But what I would like to use my divination to see what spectrum it's drawing from.
Okay, that's fine.
Absolutely
6.
not.
Okay. So you
Brain aneurysm, come on.
What's the opposite of exploding dice? Imploding.
imploding dice. I've heard that there's a system that has imploding dice that you re-roll and subtract the result if you roll a 1 or something.
Oh shit, that's all right.
That's intense.
A lot more rolling, but yeah.
Yeah, that's like, I don't think that I'm at all jealous of that system or want to incorporate that here, but it's an interesting thing.
It would
to
have
know.
happened a lot tonight.
I had plenty of ones.
But what actually happens though is your character, and it kind of follows with the story that's progressing here anyway. You're sort of becoming increasingly sort of absorbed in the weave, and so much like before, you guys find him like you almost have to sort of like do this as he sort of trances out. And you sort of have to bring him back around, I guess.
So I keep a log of things, and one of them like is his mental state.
Yeah,
and like
there's
sort of
he's
like
not got a good track record.
Getting pretty too close to the
Going native.
to the native population happening. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely on your naughty list in that case.
I'm kind of like the bureaucrat villain from Avatar. I think is what I'm shaping up.
Yeah.
I love
He's
it.
just looking for his unobtainium.
Yeah, I gotta get the untamed.
Oh man, that's great. So anyway, you're to the best of your ability. It seems that the magic that's in the weave. You can only assume that it has some sort of transformative power. I mean, you haven't seen it demonstrated, but you
Or have we?
yeah, well, exactly. Actually, when you think about that, as your character sort of going through this mental process, thought process in your head, you think back to the pairs of what might be eyes, and you wonder for a moment, like, were those spirits or something like that? Were they like animate spirits or something? And so that's kind of your, initial.
So
thought.
I will say this. The path changed behind us, yet you're still clearly following the trail of the lost soldiers. Perhaps it is changing to our benefit. It is laying a false trail.
Can I lay? Can I make any kind of check to that?
With lay odds.
But that being said,
I don't think there's any check for this. I can't think of one anyway.
With that being said, the other end of that is going to be our ability to find our way back.
Yeah, right.
If the forces are working to make sure we don't.
We did have your triumvirate marker some ways back.
Yes,
So
we do have that. We can get back to that point, and that's less than a day's travel from where we started. So
That's a good start.
well, we
Yeah,
have
you're
that
not-
riding for us.
once a day, with that in mind, I will leave a beacon behind Or like I don't know
Yeah,
what the rules are
that's
for
fine.
how many I can have going, or
Nah, we won't. Because we've defined them as being a thing that doesn't have a lot of game impact, it's fine. It doesn't matter.
okay.
Like if it were a very powerful effect, then it would be just limited by boons, or you can focus on one at a time.
Okay.
You know, but like since it's just a flavor
Breadcrumbs.
thing, yeah, it's okay. We don't need to worry about that. You're very comforted knowing that the triumvirate has you in it. You
Yeah,
know?
there we go. Yeah, triumvirate in its web. Yeah. Absolutely. I would imagine we probably have a map of the camp as it exists.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah, you do.
The surrounding areas, and probably I'd be adding to it in the evening if there is anything to.
Sure.
Well, except for if the terrain changes.
Except for it changes. That might be your ad.
Yeah.
This map is now bullshit.
Yeah.
Is what it actually what you added.
You just need to add dates to all your maps.
Yeah. There you
And
go.
change them every day.
Yeah.
So do we encounter any other creatures? Do we still have the sensation of
Being watched.
being watched?
You feel like after once dawn comes, that feeling of sort of like being watched, and then those like green like sort of eyes, they go away. So you're not sure if you're being watched or not, but it does seem to like to die down that impression anyway, that sensation that you're.
So what about the panthers? Do we still feel like that out there, or
You feel like, regarding them, you feel like they kind of maybe have like a turf almost. Because you get the impression that they stop following you
Okay.
like some number of hours after
we moved
you
out of their
after
territory.
you moved out of their territory. You haven't seen those panthers anyway. So
that's
comforting.
It's not about the panther you see; it's the panther you don't see.
Cool.
So,
So you guys
can.
can
On.
yes, you guys continue on the path.
So the party we're tracking, do we know how many soldiers were in it?
There were 5, and now there are 4 because
yeah.
one was killed.
Yeah, but when we pick up the trail again, does the number?
It does
the
match,
number-
yes.
yeah, number
It seems to be
count
4 as far as you can
four
tell.
still.
So,
Onward.
satisfied? Okay.
At,
I
some,
wasn't sure if
at,
you
at
were...
some point, maybe they'll be down to the triumvirate and there'll be a blessed number.
Well, let us hope not.
I'm still looking to save them.
So what happens, so you guys travel the day, and I'm going to pick up the speed of narration a bit today, as what happens today is the two main things that you notice. A lot of the same stuff continues to happen. A lot of being watched, but again, not the same. Not the panthers or whatever. But there are others like wolves that seem to be sort of eyeing you guys from a distance, and you manage to stay out of trouble or a fight, so to speak. But the other thing that happens is that the slope. The actual slope of the ground seems to be tipping in the direction you're headed. In other words, you're headed sort of downhill at a very, very, very slow incline. And what were you going to say? Okay. And then outside of that, you also... it seems like the canopy eventually sort of begins to get a little bit less dense. So you spot more spots of light, breaking through the canopy and pouring down into the area.
Whenever
you
I
guys are
find
walking.
like a large section of that,
Yeah.
I kind of like I'll
just
go
stand
in the middle of it with my arms outstretched, looking up, taking my helm off and feeling it.
Nice.
Because it's like probably the first time we've ever felt anything like that.
Yeah.
And just
Absolutely.
bathe in the radiance.
I've
of
been
it.
above the trees, so I don't.
Nothing new for him. Okay, yeah, that's great. I think that's awesome.
You're exposing yourself, Anything that could want to take a shot at you has perfect view.
I have complete faith.
Give yourself a legend point that you can use to get advantage on some roll.
Woohoo.
There's no place for it. You just add it. All right. That's great. That makes sense for your character. So you continue to, feel that sense of sort of being watched. And the other thing you notice is you do actually find yet another instance, really don't want to be overly general, but your reaction to it is that it's identical to what happened yesterday, where you see this guy who sort of broke off. You see another trail that breaks off. This time you manage to not miss it. You follow it, and you find a horribly mutilated corpse of another soldier. It looks like this time, though, the scavengers, which in this case previously were the panthers, it looks like the scavengers didn't get to this one, as whatever the creature is that you're tracking seems to have been what got to this guy, because it just ripped through his armor like butter, like nothing, and just shredded this corpse.
I want to go back to the spot where he trails off alone,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
and I want to see how much I can study the footprints and see
Sure.
what I can figure out as to what could possibly
Go ahead and roll logic.
logic. Ugh. D4.
What we got?
7.
7. All right. Your reaction from studying it, his distance off the trail is less than 50 feet, and your reaction is that it looks like he went off to literally just go to the bathroom. He just took a bathroom break off to the side, and your assumption is that this is fairly normal. The other one, so you're comparing them in your head, right? The previous scenario and this one. The other one, it looked like there was a bit more of a protracted thing that happened, right? Where the panther might have even chased somebody who went off to the bathroom, and then the other thing came in, right? And so, but this case, it's real close to the thing, and it just seems pretty straightforward. You're able to find the spot in the canopy where it would have literally just flown right through. You can wide enough, break in the canopy.
Okay. So
And it just, but this time there's no other factor beyond just whatever the creature itself is, because it's just again, it's just the corpse is just shredded and mutilated, that ripped right through the armor with whatever.
So am I able to scan the horizon and see where, if I'm going to assume that this is something that is a completely flying creature, is there somewhere where it would have the ability to nest or roost or?
Great point. So go ahead and roll me a perception check after you climb up there.
Ruby, the thing I find most disturbing is the companions, they're
Nice.
not going back for them
So that's a 30.
as they're being picked off. And I'm looking up at the canopy going, and how does the creature know? How is it luring them away?
Wait, so what did you say that last thing again about?
Okay, so
looking...
I find it odd that the soldiers' companions do not double back looking for them, and as well as how the creature knows when they're alone and when they're underneath the canopy. You cannot see anything.
Well, the clear logic behind that is, with this particular example, this man went off to relieve himself, and they heard his death scream as the thing descended from above. It clearly has superior senses of hearing or smell,
but if not one of your companions were to scream in pain or even death, would you not investigate?
I would
Most likely.
but I am.
Perhaps I should have found this out beforehand.
I believe that I am more sure of myself. Perhaps these men hearing these screams
Took him for dead already.
They took him for dead, or they fled so it did not happen to them.
But if their hearts are so full of dread and fear, why do they continue forward?
Maybe
Why
they
would they
lost their
not-
way. Perhaps if the forest changes about them, they probably could have lost their way, and they don't have the benefit of the triumvirate to lead them back.
Okay. And so what happens? I'll just jump in. What actually happens though is, as you guys are observing the trail, and you sort of gone off, and then you're sort of talking about this and sort of doubling back and tracing back, and you've
Well, what,
you know,
what happened when I was looking above with the 30?
yeah. Yep. So I'm going to get to that, but I'm going to have this happen first. It's
Okay,
not going to
sure.
it's not going to hurt you guys.
Yeah.
Don't worry. But what happens is as you're sort of, you two are talking as he's like up in the trees, and you're sort of doubling back to the trail after you've sort of finished checking out and examining the situation. When you get back to the trail, you hadn't noticed it because you followed the trail as it veered off. But then when you get back, you see that the main tracks, just a short ways past where it branched off, you see that they begin to become hurried. And it becomes obvious that these guys were running, in fact. And, to what you had said about, like, did they flee? It looks like they did. You also see, continuing on, you see that the trail goes like this, and then the others continue on. And you see them sort of dip into the woods like they're going toward that direction. And there's not a formal trail here anyway, but they sort of bend the trail in that direction and then make a sharp turn as it looks like they were headed toward him, and then...
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, whatever.
What you spot up in the trees with a 30 is you get a pretty high vantage point, and what you spot is that the jungle, there's still a lot of... there are a lot of trees, but a lot less canopy up ahead, as it looks like it's actually descending into swamp territory up ahead. And that's what you get, and you don't spot anything in terms of a roost, only because, in your opinion, it's not here, and you can't help but wonder, if whatever the creature is maybe outside of its normal hunting sort of radius, and if it's a flying creature, if it maybe is, you're a little worried about the swamp being open air territory to be spotted by it up ahead.
Ruby, I wonder if you should keep going up there, if it seems wise, if this creature is coming from above.
Just pluck him right off of the branch.
Just as wise as you standing out in the glory of the sunlight.
Good point.
Ah, but I have my companions near me, at least.
This is
I have
true.
the faith in your capabilities.
Hopefully we'll be more reliable than the soldiers that have come before us. Well, with that, I teleport him down.
Nice.
I feel that there are sometimes risks needs to be taken to garner information. It is more than just our lives at stake. There's the lives of the 3 men we've yet to...
No, I said it to Ruby while you're up there.
Oh, okay.
Fair enough. So you guys, anything else you want to do other than, I know you have to kind of, so the trail goes in the swamp. You're worried about going to the swamp. What are you guys doing?
We're following the trail to the swamp.
All right. So you guys,
quick prayer to the Blessed Trinity, and I'm sure we'll be fine.
that's right.
Turn back. They're dead. Sorry.
Move along. Nothing to see here, folks.
You could probably report that way and have it be true. So you guys continue on into the swamp, and things begin to get pretty murky. It's helpful to have someone with teleportation magic to sort of magically transport you from one branch to the next, one like log or sort of like higher outcropping as you guys get into more swampy territory. This happens over the course of a while. To be clear, this is hours as it slowly turns into swamp. And eventually you get to a point where it's a lot more open than it is canopy. You know what I mean?
It's swamp, but still well lit.
Yeah, you can see well in the swamp. Yeah, sure. It's the middle of daytime, so yeah, there's no reason not to be able to see. It's just like marsh,
Yeah. So there's less tree cover, which
Yeah.
is bad for a thing that apparently plucks people from the ground.
So so it's just like a very, very marshy kind of and it becomes difficult to track them. Obviously, footsteps don't hold much in the marsh, but you can follow, occasional signs of
Scraped off moss
from
broken,
exactly
reeds.
Yeah, from like the logs that are kind of jutting out, and you can see that they're following the same strategy you guys are, from jumping from solid surface to solid surface as best they can. So you continue on, and eventually you get to a point where you spot like a sort of like a knoll, like a grassy sort of raised area in the middle of the
Oh,
swamp.
not a hyena person?
No, not a hyena. The other kind of knoll.
Back and to the left.
Yeah, the K knoll, not the G knoll. And you spot what looks to be a very well picked apart carcass that you can see because it's like raised above where you are. You can just see again the same sort of scene that you guys have seen
Twice before?
yes, exactly.
And then there were two.
And then the triumvirate became a duo.
And so what are you guys doing? You spot this from a distance.
Let's go check it out. Cautiously.
Okay.
Oh, follow behind, but looking to the sky.
Roll perception since you're looking.
Yeah, my pistol is also trained at the sky.
On me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a 20 exploding, so that's a 22 so far.
Okay.
So 31. Or 33.
33, yep. All right.
Maths.
33. So on a 33, you you have no idea how fast the thing is flying, but you actually see like a speck in the sky of like a creature that it's either close or it's huge, and it's got a gigantic wingspan from your guess, and you can see, even though it's very far away, it's like hundreds of feet away, and when you look at it, you can just feel a chill go down your spine. As you can see, even with the distance, its eyes are looking right in your eyes.
Is it heading in our direction, or is it...
Flying away.
It's circling, but I said it is looking directly at his face, like
Okay.
eye
Circled.
contact,
So with that, I kind
And
of...
you, like I said, you get a chill down your spine because you know that it sees you. You see it looking right into your soul or something like that.
So with that, I kind of grin and begin singing at the top of my lungs, a battle hymn.
All right,
to the
nice,
Blessed Trinity, and I hit the button on the hammer, and I call up the shield.
nice. You should call on regeneration. You have creation, so you can invoke the regeneration boon.
So it's an ongoing effect.
You're
Yeah.
setting your hammer to womp.
The difference, the cost that you pay to do so, though, is that if you do a focus action, you then lose it. So, like, how you're getting advantage with focus, you would not be able to do that, but it's something you could do.
Oh,
Just
absolutely, I do that.
I will do
Yeah.
the same thing. I didn't realize it worked that way.
Yeah, it does. Yep. Every boon that you have access to is at will. So yeah, that's your character's like self-healing from a meditative perspective or whatever.
So this thing is closing. I will tuck behind the tree with the pistol ready to shoot, but
Yep.
It's
Can
been freshly
I-
cleaned this time.
yeah, I did clean it out very nicely. But can I ward him as a preemptive ward on his character? So this way, the first blow that's like, I don't know. Is there any way
Yes.
that can kind of
There's
play,
a protection boon.
play
So-
with the action economy essentially?
Yep. So protection as a boon. So you're going to have the same cost that has that he just that I explained to him, which is that you can't do a focus action and keep that up.
Yes.
But protection is a boon that is. I should have talked about this earlier for your sake. That's a thing you probably would do often.
Yeah.
Protection will give you basically the equivalent of like damage reduction, so to speak. And is it in here? I hope it might not be. This is like one of my newer boons. So resistance, not protection. Resistance. So you have abjuration 5.
Mm-hmm.
That's powerful because the way it works is actually. Let me check this. I may have changed this one here.
So as you're checking that,
Yeah.
I'm twirling my hammer before I begin singing. Have at the villain.
I love it.
So you'll heal a D8 at the beginning of each round, Dave, and I'll heal a D6.
Okay.
Nice. Oh, you're fine. So resistance. So the resistance boon. Wow, super powerful. That's crazy.
Who the fuck wrote this?
Defense score is increased by 10 of a specific attack type. So that could be like lightning energy or and I'll grant to you that you can tell. Yeah,
like
it's
what
fine.
it was using.
Yeah, so I'll show you. We'll say that it's like a speck at first, but while we're narrating this, we'll have it closed so that you can see a little bit clearer.
Oh, cool.
So
My namesake.
No, not quite.
From the back, it looks like a griffin.
So it's it's slashing, or resistance would probably be helpful, as it has very big paws, like a big cat, and claws. So this is unfinished, but
Can I show this off?
Yeah.
I like that.
So this is, just to give credit where it's due, that's Crystal Sully. She's the illustrator for that, and she was super nervous about me sharing it because she just finished that to its current current iteration last night, and she wants to do more on it. So it's not done. It's going to be a lot better in the book.
That's okay. It wasn't. This won't be that clear anyway on the film.
Yeah. So
This is really awesome, though.
yeah, I'm super happy with it. She's an amazing illustrator. So seriously, check her work out. Digitally Untamed. You can look her up. And she's doing a bunch of other awesome, crazy creatures for the campaign setting. So anyway, this gigantic winged tiger with a 20-foot wingspan and spikes that seem to become bony spikes that seem to be like bursting out from its skin. It's got the stripy pattern, sort of like some birds, but then the most unnerving part is the glowing red eyes that you spot as it sort of gets much, much closer, and you can actually see its eyes. And Dave, your character, with your divination sense, you feel a strong confirmation about whatever that weird tainted energy is. It seems to be connected to this thing, and probably is what was left by it before. So have everybody go ahead and roll for agility for initiative.
Ooh, 15.
$22.
8.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, do I have to wipe this off? We'll just put another one here. That's fine. So 22, is that the highest I heard?
Yep. Me.
All right. Shinjin. All right. And then next up would be, I have a 19. What about you guys?
15.
15. You're on a
8.
8.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm at low end here.
All right. Ruby. 15 is Uther. And
Same stacking initiative with bad guys there. Almost.
all right. So this creature has these gigantic front fangs. Kind of looks like a tiger. It looks like a saber-toothed tiger. It looks like a bird, all mixed together.
It's a plane. It's
Shinjin's go first. And what we'll say is that
Am I able to hold until it closes and then...
Yeah, you can hold and wait for it to swoop in to attack when it does. That's fine. So what we'll do is its turn is next. So we'll for the sake of simplicity, we'll have it close this round, and you can go ahead and attack it first as it swoops in to attack you guys.
yeah. So I'll be firing as well.
Okay.
So not only a 15.
15. Okay. Unfortunately, a 15 is not enough to hit its agility. Its evasion. I'm sorry. So your shot, so you just kind of the thing is surprisingly agile for how big it is. As you kind of come in with a blow, and as you sort of are coming in with a shot, it kind of ducks under you, and as it lands, its wing just kind of clips your legs, and so we'll knock you down as a flavor thing. So that, and let me get this guy over here, and you guys can be next to each other if you want. Here, that's fine. Would you be together or not together?
Somewhere
Okay,
else.
your choice.
Yeah, I will stand with the monk.
Okay, all right. So as you sort of miss, the things like this large wings just sort of come in and clip and sweep you as you take a misstep. So. My turn. So first off,
Is your teleport willing?
Willing? Yes, it is.
Yeah,
willing.
I can only teleport allies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I didn't know if like you could, if it's flying, if you were able to teleport it right in front of a tree, you know, be pretty amusing.
Yeah, it would be pretty sweet, but I don't think I can teleport foes, unfortunately.
Oh, that's an explosion.
That's an explosion. So 14.
Fortunately, the other numbers aren't that high. 18.
14, so 18. So as it lands, you just see like its ribcage contract as it or sort of expand. I mean, not control. Said the wrong thing. Expand, and then you just hear this whoa, this mighty roar that the thing lets out, and you guys are literally like, I mean, it literally shakes you to the bone, right? As this mighty roar, and so this is a 18 versus your resolve.
I take 2.
Okay, so you don't take damage. This is a Bane attack, and I just need to hit your resolve or better. If so, you are stunned, which is a painful Bane effect, which means that you are limited to just one action. So you don't get minor and move, and you just get one of them, right? So you either choose to do an attack or you move. So that only affects you two, because the way that the effect happens, it doesn't affect your character.
Okay.
And then, since it is a boss creature, it will attack you guys. So let's see, who looks more tasty? You look like you look less less likely to break a tooth on you. So we're gonna take you. So that is a 12.
Even without his protection, that misses.
Excellent. So on a 12, he goes wide with you with his first attack, and then his second attack is a wow, even worse. So he comes in, and you see him. He goes to much like any big cat. He sort of comes in with both paws. Looks like he's trying to swat you down to the ground to trap you or something. But you're so deft and agile that you dodge right out of the way of his attacks. And so
I'm saying I roll to the side.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. You've been tripped, and you just kind of do like yeah, exactly. Yep. Stop.
So is he within reach?
Yeah, he's within reach. Yep. Okay, we're good.
So with that, I will try and uppercut him with the hammer, and I will trade him my legendary point.
All right, advantage on this. Okay, and you can't do a focus, remember, because you're stunned. So focus action can't be done at that time.
Oh, that's a horrible
painful
roll.
Oh
So
man.
a 9.
9. Okay.
I think he just laughed.
Yeah. So what happens on a 9 is you sort of swing in, and you're coming down with this giant power hammer, and he sort of strafes to the side, and as you do, your arm comes in and just gets torn up by these spikes that are all over his body. So one thing that I don't, and when people run this, and I advise people on how to run this game, obviously you don't want to do this one all the time, but one of the negative effects that can happen is just damage. So you're going to take 5 damage.
Okay.
And obviously, if I did that every turn, it would be pretty easy to kill you guys. So that's not fun.
Question though.
Yeah.
The regeneration, does that happen at the start of the turn? End of the
start
turn?
of his turn. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So
I'm saying if it happened at the end of the turn.
it would help, wouldn't it? It'll be at the start of his next turn, though. But yeah, persistent damage and regeneration, they both happen at the beginning of the turn. So
Ruby?
that was Uther. So yeah, you go. Ruby's go. Yeah.
I could just teleport away. But I think I'm going to take a fire at the cat here.
Okay. Let's hope that pistol isn't jammed this time.
Yeah, we'll see.
See some exploding 20s.
Yeah, we need
Let's
that.
see. So that's an 11.
11. Okay.
Probably not good enough.
Your shot goes wide, and what's going to happen is he is going to, let's see.
I know you're not super fond of charts, but have you thought about the idea of charts for
Yeah.
stuff like this?
I probably won't do it. I mean, I'll just put them online and people can like use them as an optional thing if they want. But I don't think I'll make them part of the canon, so to speak, just because I feel like that's like a little bit limiting. Because when you have that, then you end up feeling locked to it. You know what I mean?
Well, you could say like you have the option to do what you want.
Yeah.
But here are some already prepared.
That is in there.
Okay.
Yeah. In the rules, there's a list of like here are 4 prepared things.
Okay.
And essentially, what it is Banes that are low in power level. So you already have like 30 options, like we said, for Banes.
Right.
Right. So a Bane, as long as it's like power level 3 or less. So like last time, he got the demoralized Bane when his weapon jammed. So, but we'll just have this. We'll just skip over this one. We don't need to have a negative effect on everything because we don't need to be religious about it. Shinju is.
So
Shinjin's up.
I am stunned by his mighty roar.
Yep.
So I can either stand up or attack with disadvantage. So I am going to actually attack with disadvantage.
Okay.
I'm going to spin on my back and try to deliver a kick.
All right. Sounds good.
Gonna b-boy it.
B-boy, yeah. You got this.
Lay some cardboard down.
So that's a natural 20.
Natural 20. Beautiful.
So that explodes into a 29, 39.
39. All right, so that's definitely enough to trigger a Bane. So you'll want to tell me what kind of secondary effect. So there's stunned for him. There's blinded. There's different stuff like that.
Stun would reduce him to 1 action.
Yeah, I think that's the best to do. So my kick hits him square across the temple.
Okay.
And sends him a little reeling.
Yeah.
So he'll be stunned as well.
Absolutely.
You should have done Monkey Steals Peaches.
Well, I don't think I could reach the peaches.
Nice.
Unless I was willing to go underneath and...
Speed bag them. Monkey speed bags Peaches.
Oh man, that's great. All right, cool. So he's stunned too. So next up is so that was so it's his go. Okay. All right. So he is going to versus you guys. You're down still.
Yes.
So he has advantage to hit you then. So that is a explosion. So 11 plus 10 plus this reroll. So 21 plus. Ooh, 27 plus. Oh,
Can I do a ward?
This is gonna be a ward one, yeah. 27. So 33. We're not done though. Okay, 36.
But he already has some kind of ward on you.
Yeah.
So what is he attacking? Is he attacking toughness
It's
or
actually great that it is. It's versus your evasion.
Okay,
So you
I've
have
got a 27 before he comes.
Yeah, so 36. So the only trouble with you're already kind of warding him with a 10.
So if he's
So you still have to beat his very high 27 to help him more, right? Because
well, I could always get exploding dice. So
Yeah,
I have advantage 3 on this.
Yep.
And it's 2 dice.
Yep.
2 dice 6 otherwise.
Yep. Cool.
All right.
So right now we're at 36 versus your and you're still going to just keep 2.
Nothing
So
exploded.
23.
So 23.
23,
So
yeah.
it doesn't change for his
All right,
27.
so 27
So
from
36. 36.
So it's 9.
Yep. Just shy of another Bane. Oh, too bad. Alrighty. Yeah, that 10 is really huge. So, my fault for not remembering that the boon, the resistance boon, is super helpful. Next up is
Thanks for that boon, man.
yeah.
So at the start of my turn, I heal.
Actually,
Yes.
Okay.
And you
Good,
forgot
good.
to. You didn't take damage before.
No, that was
that's the
fresh,
first
so.
damage. So next turn you'll
So
get
it's
your
a die 8.
yeah.
I have a die 6.
So I'm back
So-
at full.
So yeah, and so now you have the choice of, because you just got stunned, you unfortunately have to maintain the boon or let it go. Yeah, because you can't sustain the boon and take your other action, right? So, but it's okay. You still heal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying otherwise. What I'm saying is that you now either have to let that regeneration go or attack. You can't do both because you're stunned. But
Okay.
because of being stunned. Yes.
Oh, how long does the stun last?
So stun. So let's clarify that. I apologize. I should have clarified this on your turn. If you take a move action, you can roll a resist roll. Okay, and resist rolls apply. This is a weird thing about the game. It's kind of it's very meta.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, you're not really taking an active part necessarily in resisting. It's just that like you invest in trying to shake it off, right? Or yes, it's an active thing. So if you roll a resist roll, 10 or better on a d20, then you shake off that particular bane that's affecting you. So there's no set duration for banes.
Okay.
So what that means is you'll continue to be stunned until you make a resist roll to try to shake it off. So the idea is that people tend to sort of allow certain amount of hampering of the, and then eventually if you have multiple banes, you want to take a resist roll because you can roll against each bane that's affecting you with one resist roll.
Okay.
So anyway.
So with that, I will...
So the thing is, so you have a 50-50 chance right now. If you want to roll resist, then it costs you your move, but you do actually get the rest of your turn back after that if you succeed.
Okay.
So, like, if you roll a 10 or better, then you can also attack. Your move is spent from the resist roll.
Okay. So I'm just gonna attack.
Okay. 8 plus 17. So
17.
All right.
Against his toughness.
His toughness. Okay. You do 1 point of damage to him. So.
But if that was my D20 roll, I wouldn't have resisted anyway. So.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Fair point. Yeah, and that's exactly the idea. It's like that I like the way it feels, the way it plays out mechanically, because it's like you're forced with that hard choice of like, do I try to shake off what's afflicting me, or do I just press on trying to kill the other combatant? You know what I mean? So, anyway, so you're up,
So
Ruby, and you heal now.
no, he's up first.
Okay. Oh yeah, sorry, I followed. Yeah,
All right, so I'm gonna just try and take another pot shot.
Yep. Come on, 20.
Oh, well, that's a 19.
19. All right. So 19 versus his evasion. So it does 2 damage to him. So you hit him. It's a grazing shot.
Even worse, I have his attention.
Yeah.
And I'll duck back behind my my tree.
All right. Now it's
I heal.
Shinjin's go.
I get
5.
5.
Okay.
So now, we didn't do this last round, but
Yes.
I'm really supposed to.
Yeah, you have to either concentrate to keep the boon, or do something else.
Okay, so
He didn't take that too because I spent my action to try and ward him.
Oh, okay.
So that
All
didn't
right,
happen.
all right. Yeah, that's fine. You're right. Good call. Forgot about that.
if I use my movement
Yes.
to try to resist that, then I could actually still be able to keep the concentration and make it
Exactly. That's the
if I'm
advantage.
successful.
Yeah, exactly.
If I fail,
Yeah,
I do
As a
absolutely
monk,
nothing.
Yeah.
does he have anything that makes him shake off things better?
No, there's a feat for it, but he doesn't have a feat.
All right,
so
so what-
it's definitely a feat that a monk would take, but that's just like your first level.
Build preference.
All right, so
Versus
what am I
level
actually
problem.
rolling here?
Yeah. So you're just rolling a d20 if you're going to resist, and
Okay,
you
so
want
it's-
a 10 or better.
It's just a flat D20.
Yep.
55% chance.
Can I
Exactly.
adjure some shit related to these rolls?
You can.
Okay.
You can if you want to.
Oh yeah, that's right. The cancel.
Yeah. The only problem is timing on it, right? Because he's about to have to make this decision now, but you can't. You won't be able to use your abjuration as a. That's just the defend action, right? So
it had to have been prior to.
yeah, you would have had to do it last round. So.
Nope.
Okay, no dice. All right, so unfortunately, nothing. It doesn't go your way at all this round. Unfortunately, the saber wing.
But he is still stunned from
Correct.
my bane. Because last combat,
Yes.
when I blinded the one thing, it only lasted the one round. And he
Well,
rolled-
no, it was just that you. Oh, that was if that happened. You're right. I think that's just my fault.
Okay.
Right? It's clerical error on
All right,
my
'cause
part.
I thought
Rings
that-
are helpful for this stuff. We should probably use them if you have like the little put around a fig. Okay. So
Like
anyway.
basically the milk seal rings.
Yeah,
are good.
yeah, those are fun. Yeah, so that's my fault. That
Okay.
was that
'Cause
should have
I
happened
assume
that way.
that was just that those things lasted a
I
round.
think it only attacked once anyway, so.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many times it attacked, but anyway, whatever.
All right. So it's
So-
stunned. What is it doing?
So it is going to attempt to shake off the stun because it has a much larger action economy to take advantage of should it succeed. 8, so it is still stunned. So things are not, things are not going well
So-
for it. Uther's up. Yeah.
All right.
Come on.
We got a 17.
17. All right. Is that against its toughness? So you
Yes.
do 1 point of damage again.
This is just whittling away.
So
Little by little. So this is common in the game,
Yeah.
which is that like they tend to fall close to the defense score, so you do like 3 points, 2 points, and then it's 40, and boom, you know.
Yeah. So now, on my turn, I'm able to cancel Banes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
You can cancel the Bane on these guys now. You could do a multi-target, which is disadvantage 2 if you want to do that, or just target one of them. You know, but
what's my DC?
there's a Dispel boon, which it is equal to the difficulty of Stun, and Stun is, I think Stun is, I can't remember if Stun is 3 or 5.
We should consult the designer on this.
We should consult
Yeah.
the designer on this. Does anybody know where he's at?
Yeah.
It's in here. Stunned is 4. So you have to roll an 18 to unstun them. So it's 10 plus double the power level. So the power level is 4, and it's 18 to unstun them.
Okay, and I would only get
So that's 2 dice and a 20, or
I'll get
You're-
the 2d6.
You can focus this. So
well,
like
I've
if you
lose my
don't,
word on you.
that's a problem. So you should probably not focus it. Yeah.
All right. I think I'll go round by round.
Okay.
I'm gonna go to try to unstun him first because he's going to get to act.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm gonna do.
Cool. 18 or better.
18 or better. All right. I think this is doable. And then next round I'll go for Dave there.
There you
And
go.
that's 19.
19. Beautiful.
Okay.
So you're unstunned. Perfect.
Thank you, sir.
So now-
And that's called the Dispel boon, which cancels Banes or whatever. So you are up. So go ahead.
I was gonna say you should jump on its back, but it's spiky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could teleport him there.
Yeah, no, don't let that.
Whether you want to or not. It says an ally. It doesn't say anything about willing.
So that's an explosion.
So 22.
22. Okay. 22 versus its evasion. All right. So that's 5 damage. So not enough to trigger a Bane, but definitely enough for it to notice you as it turns to look at you. So next is its go. It is going to.
Try to cancel Bane again or no?
I think so.
So
if
real
I
quick.
don't keep rolling it, then
So
it's
the,
like,
the multi-target.
Yes.
Is that specifically hitting more than one thing, or is that allowing multiple shots?
no, it's hitting more than one thing.
Okay.
So there's a separate one. There's multi-attack.
Okay.
So there's multi-target and there's multi-attack. So multi-attack allows you to take a second attack at disadvantage 3, and it does the exact same thing, which is whittle off the disadvantage each time you invest in it. So he's going to try... Yes. So he gets the rest of his actions back, which is bad for you guys. He is going to...
There'll be no joy in Mudville tonight.
He's used his move, so
He's used his move, which is good for you guys.
Which means he can't focus on shit.
So first attack is going to be on. Well, he noticed how incredibly, well, he's a beast, so maybe he doesn't understand the protection that you have. And then who did more damage to him? I'm trying to
I've been doing one at a time.
Yeah, so I guess
I did one.
it works out best for you guys. He's a beast, so he'll attack you even though he doesn't have much chance there. So that is only a 12. So miss versus your evasion. And then
Doesn't even hit my toughness. Wow.
his next attack is a 9, 11 plus. Oh, 17 plus.
23.
23 plus. Oh my gosh, 27, which is exactly enough to not do anything despite all that drama. Oh man, that's
His paws keep slamming up against that shield.
wow. That is
His
awful.
Ted looks terrified.
Oh man. Oh my god. You're like so careful.
Somebody bring me my brown pants.
Oh man, that's great. And then the last thing, since he has his minor action and can do his terrifying roar as a minor action, that is a 14 versus your resolve scores for you to
16.
16. What's your?
I'm stunned again.
Oh man. At least it's not both of you.
But he's he's still stunned.
Yeah. Oh, you're back to both being stunned. Oh shit. All right. So Uther's go.
All right, I'm just gonna slap him with the. Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
So that didn't do anything.
Yes, you got nothing. So you go down again. Sorry.
Should remove it from him this time because he's got a better resolve.
All right. Yeah, that's true. All right, so that's what we're gonna do is try to remove from him. So 18 again. All right. So that's gonna explode.
Nice.
So we got that. That's 9, 18. Well, it's 18 on the
19.
nose. 19.
Yeah. Okay. So you cancel stunned on him. Yep. So you're unstunned, Dave. Right.
Yeah. Had I nailed it by a ridiculous amount? Like, is there anything that happens for?
Yeah, that's GM discretion. Yeah, I would definitely have it affect both of them if you rolled
Like a
ridiculously
30
high
or
or something like
something,
that. Yeah, sure.
All right. Well, I'm not on the ground, so
Yeah. So you have a normal.
exercise the boot to the head technique.
that's what I'm gonna try and do. So the 8 exploded. So that's a 27.
27. Okay. So on a 27 versus its evasion. So that's exactly 10 damage. So you actually trigger a Bane.
Stun that sucker again.
Keeps it from flying away too. So.
Yeah, it does. The stun. So brutal. All right. So my go.
Stone cold stunner.
Stone cold stunner. He succeeds at getting away here.
It's good that he gets to then do his actions because in a typical D&D thing, you make the save and you're like, all right, but I have to wait till next round to actually benefit from
I
it.
know, right?
So that's good.
Yeah, that was
Not for them, but
yeah, no. For making it less boring anyway.
Yeah.
So let's see.
There's more drama.
I feel like there's, yeah, I think so. And that was actually a real particular. That's just. So the interesting thing about the game is that a lot of these questions come down to just that one effect, right? Because everything's very modular. So we don't have tons of rules about things in general. It's just things specific, right? So there's like a rule about stunned, and there's a rule, different stuff like that. So if you're not using that status effect, then you don't have to, I mean, that's other systems are that way too, so that's fine. So the thing about he just rolled a 27, and he got this incredible hit that should have taken you out. So I'm going to say he's finally noticed that you're extremely resilient, and he's going for Dave, who's also on the ground. So he's already primed to be pounced upon. So that is a 14 plus 2 is 16 plus an explosion is 21 versus your evasion.
So I have a 19.
19. So this guy has, 19, so 21. All right. So you take 2. So second one's going to be another attack. Gotta play I really want him to grapple or immobilize you, but I did have it written down on my sheet that it's 5 damage to do that. So we'll be honest about it. So 6 plus 4 is 10. So nothing on the second attack, and we'll go. We don't want to have him roar every time. That's boring. So next up is
Uther.
So I'm going to stand up.
Yep.
And see if we can't actually get a good shot on it for a change here. So we have a 17.
Versus his evasion.
Oh my god, isn't that what I've been...
Toughness.
Yeah, toughness. Isn't that what I've been getting?
Yeah, that is, exactly. You keep doing 1 damage to him. So you do 1 damage to him.
In the way.
That's right.
It's like 3 times. You've done 4 times. All right. Okay, so next up is Ruby.
So I guess at this point, I'm just going to try to abjure to remove try to take away your Bane. All right, so that's a 22.
Yep. So you cancel the Bane. Nice. Excellent.
With focus.
And now you're up. Yeah, so now focus attack.
You must focus. All right, there you go.
Okay, so
That's an explosion.
So actually, we'll keep that as an 8. I'll roll that one. That's only a 1. So 27.
27.
Again.
Well, yet again, 10 damage. And
Yet again stunned.
he has 10 hit points. As you can tell me how you finished him off.
Well, I mean, the back of the head seems to have been a popular target, so I'll deliver a roundhouse to that perfect spot to the back of his skull, and he just
Lights out.
You should have spearhanded him right through his mouth out the back of his head.
I take damage for that. Much spike.
Anything worth it.
Yeah, but
You walked it off in 10 minutes.
you're right. All right. So you guys. So anyway, you fell this beast. You see what happens as you knock it out and you see literally like the lights go out as it has these glowing eyes. But what's really strange that happens is as it sort of like crumples to the ground in the swamp and sort of splashes down, you just see it sort of sink into the swamp. As it's sort of sinking into the muck, at the same time that it's sinking, you almost see like this ethereal, like like it's spirit or something. Really, you can't imagine what else it is, except you guys all see it. It's not something that only Dave's character can see. As it
He's infecting us, is really.
Yeah. You see like this outline, or this sort of like shimmery outline of the thing sort of beginning to rise up out of the swamp, and you see the red lights in his eyes, they go out, but then you see these pinpoints in this like spiritual like creature, and it sort of looks at you guys, and you see it kind of like look menacingly, sort of looks like it's just trying to decide what it wants to do, and then you see it sort of turn and sort of it doesn't have wings, right? It's more of a vague spirit that's not the exact creature itself, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it sort of turns away from you guys, and you watch it kind of fade as it sort of walks off into the distance or something like that.
Is there anything spectacular about the feathers that are on this thing? Or are they just...
Yeah, they're huge. They're even bigger than any bird because it's 20-foot wingspan that So magical? No. If you Dave could divine whether it's magical, it's not, but very extraordinary.
Your performances will be documented in my report. Much appreciated.
Thank you for your compliance.
Thank you for your service.
Friend computer approves.
Yeah, that's right.
only played that game once.
It's a good game. I love that game. Paranoia for anybody who's watching.
Folks at home.
For the folks playing the home game.
So the question is, there's two possible survivors, or did they?
You could check its stomach if someone's so inclined.
It would be a pile of meat.
I have no means by which to
There's
understand.
no reason to ascertain whether this thing is eaten. That we also have no way to ascertain whether there were multiples of said creature.
Right.
I think we need to press on at least another day or two and see if we could find these missing two soldiers.
How many parties had gone out?
So there were many parties in all the different directions to map the different, take this slice, right? So total, let's say 8.
And none of them have come back.
Correct.
So we need to find whoever's carrying the journal and the map and bring that back.
And tell them that it's all wrong. 'Cause clearly.
There's a problem. There's a big problem.
Exactly.
So those tracks that we found, the harried tracks, they looked fairly recent because that body was fairly recent.
The what tracks?
The tracks that the harried
from here,
the harried
Yeah, they
tracks,
escaped, yeah.
Yeah. It seems that the tracks continue on. So despite the fact that you ran into the creature that was, what you think is the creature that was attacking them, they continue to move on to the northeast, which is the direction they've been headed all along. The two remaining, pairs of tracks. So it's up to you guys what you want to do.
I'm all for pressing on.
Yeah,
I think we should try and pick up the pace and force march if necessary, so we can gain ground on them.
Yeah.
Good call.
Wise suggestion, Uther.
All right. So you guys, so roll me a perception check, Uther.
Nope. 5.
All right, 5. Okay. So you guys continue on, and what happens as you're going? Eventually, the swamp. So about another hour in, the swamp begins to turn back into jungle, and the canopy again begins to get dense, and you can see up ahead. And again, you're pretty open air where you are now, and you can see very clearly the delineation and the tracks are headed that direction as well. It goes back into the jungle.
Were we moving straight ahead, or did he backtrack us?
Wait, I don't even understand what.
So, did we progress forward following the tracks, or with his lousy perception, did he backtrack us? And through logic, I'm trying to ascertain that. I guess.
All right, that's fine.
So.
Oh, I'm not doing the tracking. He's doing the tracking.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that.
Yeah, that's you're overthinking it.
Yeah, I'm just making sure because rolls are rolls.
Yeah.
A roll's a roll and a toll's a toll. Yeah. But yeah.
No, it's fine. You don't think he's backtracking you, and he's not leading anyway to do that. So you guys are headed off in the same direction and that you were originally headed, and eventually it turns back into jungle. Like I said, you can see the dark up ahead, and just as you're not the dark, I just mean the shadowy shaded jungle. As you guys are headed there, so what happens is you close and you're within a real short distance of actually closing back into the tree line, and as you're going, you suddenly
Damn it! Quick save.
20 versus your resolve. Should hit you, right?
Yeah.
You what happens as you're going is you suddenly start to feel really tired and out of breath, and your character is quite strong and powered by the divine, of course. So you're thinking to yourself, I know that I'm carrying more weight because you have the armor and stuff than these other guys, but you feel like you're having trouble keeping up with them as you guys close back into the jungle perimeter, tree line here.
With that, I would try and bolster myself using the blessed power of the Trinity to
Regenerate?
channel it. Yeah.
Yeah, go for it. Go ahead and roll creation.
That is a 26.
26. So you feel the surge of the divine through yourself as it sort of courses through you and should heal you, but it almost feels like whatever it is that's affecting you is somehow on some other wavelength, which is, don't get me wrong, your character is just as confused as you are as a player because it doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. And you're like, what the hell? What? It should have worked, you know what I mean? But It seems to not work, and that is definitely a point of concern. It's like
Shinjin, Ruby, I'm under attack.
Can I try to cancel a bane?
Sure, you can try to cancel a bane. Roll abjuration.
While he's doing that, I'm looking around to see what I might be able to.
All right, finally explosion at least. So that's good. But the rolls right now not so good. We're sitting at 11, 14.
You could do what I did and roll 27. That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. So 18.
18. Okay. So on an 18, let's see. Okay, you when he does this, and we're gonna rule that just given the current context and the mystery around what exactly is wrong with him, you're able to manifest a protective warding thing that cancels the bane, and you do feel better, but you don't know what you canceled. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're not sure exactly what you just canceled or what the effect was, but you do feel and you almost begin to feel almost nauseous. You're if you ever run so hard that you feel nauseous or something like that, you feel like the edge of your stomach starting to turn. Mm-hmm. But then when he does this, you go back to feeling normal, and you also feel like you get your strength or your breath back, so to speak.
So am I able to perceive and see if I can see anything that's out there?
Yeah, roll.
Could have targeted him.
Yep.
16.
16. Mm-hmm. Actually, 1.
Can I sense something with abjuration? Or that's more of a divination, I guess, right?
Can you sense something? Yeah, that's divination.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 9.
That's what I was gonna try once he's done.
Yeah. No disturbance in the force.
All right. And you said you rolled a 16?
Yes, sir.
Alrighty. You do not, you don't perceive anything as you're like scanning around. The woods look to have only, just typical woodland animals. There's lots of them. They're always there. But you don't see anything other than that. And assuming that an animal's
Are
not
you feeling
doing
better?
this-
I am. I'm going to try to divine the source of the
Okay. Roll divination.
attack.
Sure.
All right, a 9.
9. Okay.
So-
You feel like the attack. It feels like it was poison, and you wonder after you spent time sort of pinned down and sort of rolling around in the muck and the marsh. You wonder if there's some kind of something poisonous that might have bit you while you were partially submerged for a long while you're sort of held down there. It's your reaction anyway. It's your.
Would
That's
that
what
be a learning check?
Yeah, it could be learning or logic or one of those to do what, to understand the type of poison.
Well, you understand what would happen if I think it was more of a disease or if I think I actually got bit by something.
Yeah, you
like kind of.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you guys could go ahead and roll. That's fine.
No, 5.
5. All right. You're not sure exactly the species, and so you have no idea how to combat it from like a symptoms perspective or whatever. It seems that whatever your friend here has done has helped. But you guys we can have other people jump in if you have learning and you
I
might
do have
know
learning.
what the potential. The only problem is it's going to be tough just because of being on another planet, right? So you don't
I
necessarily
say
know.
we just press on.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'll
that's
do
fine.
it.
It doesn't take any extra time for him to do it.
So it exploded. So
Okay.
that's good.
Good.
So the
20.
20. Yeah.
Okay. So you're familiar with the general family of symptoms, and you've heard of it, so it's not like surprising to you. How that applies to this world, that part's unclear. So you don't actually know how to like help or
I don't know
or
how to treat it.
how to
Right.
treat it, but you can confirm that you think that it's a thing that you've read about. Again, you guys are these weird sheltered people who have never been in the wilderness, so to
Yes.
speak. You know what I mean? So.
All right,
Well,
we'll try and find our.
Worst case scenario, we'll see you your body conduct it back to the triumvirate for you. But we should press on.
As much comfort.
That's
Can't
cool.
roll that
I should monitor like our time. When do you guys think we should how long should we go for? I mean, because I don't want to what's it called? I don't want to end unexpectedly or come to a spot where we're out of time.
I have not been monitoring time.
We're coming back up on 5.
Yeah, that's fine. So again, it's up to you guys. What do you want to do? We can
Keep
go
going for a little bit.
a little bit. Go for what, like half an hour or something?
Yeah, that sounds
that's cool.
perfect.
Cool. Alrighty. So you guys, so you continue on, and alrighty. What's your resolve?
A 16.
16. Okay. Okay. So you guys continue on. You press on, and mostly, you're sort of you take a break for a moment to sort of like check out him, and you help him. You guys are hanging out there for a second, and then just when you're about to gather up your things and keep on moving, you hear a voice from the shadows off in the distance. Again, the jungle is very shadowy here, very difficult to see, especially because your eyes came from the bright, and now you're back in the darkness of the jungle. And you hear a voice come from the darkness, and you're surprised because two things. One,
We understand it.
you understand it. Yep. And two, you hear the sound at the same time that the voice says, don't move a muscle, you're surrounded. You hear the sound of the creaking of a bow, not the bowstring, but the bow itself.
The bow drawn back.
And then you're like, wait, what? Because you came out here seeking these soldiers, and they don't have bows, and So immediately, your mind is like swarming with all these thoughts at the same time. What do you guys do?
Ward myself against piercing.
What's that? Yeah.
Ward myself against piercing.
Good call. You can definitely roll that. Go for it. Just go ahead and roll.
Okay, sure.
And
see what
while
I can
while she's doing that, what do you guys do?
Perceiving.
No dice. All right. You can roll perception. That's fine.
All right, so that's 10, 13 only. Though.
Okay. So you fail to ward it. You can, or is there a low level one? I think resistance for the lowest level is 3. So that would be 16 for the lowest level. So no, you don't
No dice.
invoke it.
So. Wait a second, I'm rolling the wrong thing. Perception is D20 plus a D8.
Okay.
So I don't see anything. That's a 6.
Okay. All right. So you hear this voice come off from the distance. What do you guys do? You don't spot where it's coming from. You manage to not quite ward. You're trying to work up this ward, but it's just not coming together.
We come seeking our lost companions. We do not come to wage war.
Okay.
They were beset by some beast of this world.
Yes. Well, I don't. What's surprising is, like, in the chaos, your initial reaction is, you didn't even have time to think about this. But as she continues, you're surprised that it's a female voice. As she says, "Yes, I know very well what you've come here for, all of you. I suggest that you go back from where you came."
We're merely here to find our companions and bring them back to our camp.
Yes, well, I don't think you're going to find them, unfortunately. And I suggest that you head back, as I said.
Do you approve of their demise?
Do I approve of their demise?
Proof of their demise.
Oh. No, I don't have proof of their demise. I merely know that I've heard of some strangers wandering in this territory and that they met an unfortunate end. And you, as she's talking, you guys, at first you think, because you still haven't seen the face or anything, and you're thinking, like, what in the world?
Can I ascertain a direction that it's coming from?
Yeah, sure. You can definitely ascertain a
Well,
direction.
then I'll do that, and I will be facing that direction.
Yeah.
I'll calmly, I don't, want to do anything that's going to provoke that I'm doing any kind of attacks. Well, I'm very sorry. Is this your terrain, your domain that we have stepped upon without permissions?
That is exactly right. And you guys are surprised. What I was going to say a second ago was just that as she talks, the thing that's most shocking is, at first you think that, again, you hear the drawing of a bow, so unusual because most people from Schlechternberg would be using a gun, a rifle of some sort, and you're thinking that, okay, this is just some really weird person that can speak our language. Somebody, you think it's native, but as she talks, you can hear a bit of an accent in her speaking, and it sounds as though she's not a native speaker of your tongue, which is very unusual because at first you thought that she spoke it fluently, but it takes a little while to actually even be able to tell or hear the accent. So in any case, but back to the whole thing. Yes, this is my domain, and yes, you are trespassing. So, as I said before, I asked you all to go back from whence you came, and please, I don't want there to be any bloodshed today.
Well, if you say our companions are no more, there is nothing to be gained from conflict here. As I'm talking, I'll reach out through my divine senses to discern.
Okay.
I was looking for a sense of maybe truthfulness to the statement. Well, I guess she's not really bluffing. She just thinks the land's going to take care of them. So I guess that's that.
It's up to you if you want to roll or not. It's fine.
Yeah. So what would that be? That
Perception. I mean,
under perception.
yeah, I think so.
There's no harm in it, I guess, even though it's a straight 20 roll. Nope, that's a 6.
Okay. And what did you
So I was reaching through the weave using divination to discern numbers and locations.
Okay. And you rolled a 16, you said?
No, I had an 8.
8? Oh, okay. All right. You can't discern the direction, but you discern that there are others present. You're not sure where they are, but there is more than one presence outside of the group of you, more than just her. And then you rolled also poorly.
I will not embarrass myself by imparting that there's more than one.
And you were trying to discern the truthfulness of her statement about which.
About the demise, like.
Oh yeah, whether they were dead. As far as you can tell, there's not really much to read there. It seems like a simple statement of fact.
I don't know how the rest of you feel. Our mission was to find our compatriots. Her words ring true. We're on her domain. Our companions are dead. Any of the information they have gathered based on our perceptions, the lands change. I see no reason why we should stay and risk bloodshed.
So as soon as he says that, you are struck suddenly, just riveted to the core by and literally you just on the spot you just begin vomiting, and it seems like the symptoms came back as if you feel at the same time that you just like nearly projectile, you're like I almost projectile vomit, and then you get dizzy and you're like you start to feel like you can't even stand up straight, and so you guys see that happen to him. There's no there's no action on the part of anybody outside of you guys that seems to trigger that or anything like that.
I'll go and try to ward him.
Okay.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I will. So with a soothing blue light.
Blue light special.
No,
special.
6. So that's 9.
9? Okay. All right. This seems like a particularly difficult.
I made it worse.
Yeah. Well, what we'll actually say is that the secondary effect of the failure is that is that it's stuck, and meaning that we're not going to have you roll again against this. It's like it seems beyond your ability to, like you canceled it once and then like it came back and you're thinking like, you thought you got rid of it but you didn't, and so your current thought is that like it's beyond you, and so
Is this something that he can shake off? Is this something that can be like medicine checked? I don't know what.
Yeah. You can definitely roll resist to see if you can shake off this bane. So go ahead and roll that.
Okay.
13. All right. So so normally you would think that you would feel like taking a moment to sort of like breathe deep, like that's something where people vomit a lot, like you take deep breaths, like get your head about you, and it seems like that should work, but it doesn't. As you continue to feel sick, and it seems like
Do the
whatever
only thing I know how to do, and that's pray.
Yeah, there you go. Nice.
Right, so is there anything that I could do to look into this?
I don't think so. Let's say no in this case. I mean, I'm not sure. I don't unless you have some suggestion. I just haven't anticipated.
I don't know what counts as medicine.
Medicine is learning.
Well, then that would just be a flat D20 roll for me.
Sure, you can try to treat him. I mean,
I
it's
could
fine.
deploy. Well, I may as well try. Once my magic fails, I may as well try to
See if you
harm
can
him further.
Naturally harm him further.
I'm going to forget my Hippocratic oath. All right, so it's a crit on the die.
Okay.
So that's good.
20 explodes.
Yeah, let's explode the 20. So it's 21. 20 again. So that's 41. Another 20.
Oh my God!
61, 69. 70. There. I just wanted to be 69. 70.
He's like,
Well, you yourself said that.
I know.
That was
know.
fucking absurd.
It
And
does-
you know what? In combat, I've been completely ineffectual, so it's so funny.
Take a picture of that.
Somebody take a picture of that. I want to put that on the record as that is an exact tie with the highest roll I've ever seen so far. 70 is the highest. I've never seen a 71 or higher so far. They're out there for sure, but I've not seen any.
Let's get rid of the flash.
So
Exploding dice galore.
20, 20, 20, and then what was the follow-up on the last one? 9. Jeez.
Yeah.
It's insane. Oh
So
my
the proficiency die provided 1.
goodness. Yeah. A 1. And then, yeah.
The stat dice produced 69 points.
Woo! Okay, so what happens on a 69 for your
70.
learning check? 70, yes, sorry, for your learning check is that's going on Facebook, on Twitter or something right now.
Yeah,
Instagram. Epic. So what happens as a result is something that you get to bend the plot in a way that was not at all expected by myself, as what you perceive as you're working with him, you get a really good idea about what the symptoms are. And you're like thinking, okay, I know exactly the creature. You couldn't recall it before, but now you can. The kind of poisonous water moccasin type snake that would have this effect on someone, like the symptoms that he has. And so you begin to treat it for that. And as you're doing that, you think, like, okay, I know exactly, you might have some, we'll say you have some arcane, like medicine type components on your character to use and as an antidote just because you rolled so high.
I'm infusing my magic into the medicinal treatment to abjure away the poisonous effects.
Perfect. And what happens is, as you're doing that and you're applying this, it becomes clear to you that there's something about his symptoms that aren't quite right. So, to be specific, he's vomiting and dizzy, but he should also have a fever, and he doesn't. And, we're just gonna, I could let you guys guess, but we're near the end of our session anyway, so we'll skip that part and just say that your character is pretty sure that whatever is afflicting him is not real. So that's something that you wouldn't have been able to roll high enough to get normally. So on a 70 you do. And so you think that there's something mind-affecting magic that's actually causing this. And that the reason it hasn't been shakeable is because it's not even real.
A phantom sets your mind.
Now, is that something I could turn my curative magic against, knowing what it is now?
No, it would only. He actually has the best chance of helping because abjuration would cancel illusion, but not creation. Creation doesn't cancel illusion, so no.
So now know that in mind.
But with it in mind, so yeah. Let me finish a little bit. So, but with that knowledge, though, you're actually able to just believe yourself out of it. Since you rolled a 70, like
I was going to say, a 70 does not invoke a cancel.
Yeah, it does. It does. Don't worry. I just hadn't got there that far yet. So yeah, you actually come around in the sense that you realize that it's all in your head, and you kind of like shake it off, thanks to his help. So
after I shake it off, and I'm kind of like leaning on my hammer for support. Yeah, I'm down on like one knee, almost like a three-pointer type stance. I kind of look in the direction of the voice, and a rasp with a raspy voice of my own. I reply, "Is this your work?"
And she said you hear surprise in her voice as she says, "What work? What do you mean? What's wrong with you?"
I've been under attack. I've been assaulted spiritually and mentally.
Mentally, I can assure you.
I thought you wished no conflict with us.
I assure you that I was honest in saying so. I don't understand. Why are you vomiting? What is wrong? What's happening?
He was afflicted by some phantasm.
Very well. I don't know what phantasm would have afflicted him. We're alone right now, as far as I know, other than my people and the group of you.
Well, this is your domain, and if you are kicking us out, that means those within it are operating within your guidelines.
Okay.
So if you wish to operate in good faith, show yourselves and your numbers.
Double sixes. 12 plus 3. Plus 9. So 15, 9, 24. 24. So what happens as this is happening, you feel like the jungle canopy beneath, or the foliage, like that's fallen underfoot beneath your feet. It begins to rustle, and like you actually hear the leaves, and you look down and you see like suddenly springing up from like the leaves that are this form this carpet underfoot. You see like this really gross looking pair of like, or 3 or 4 black tentacles that have like thorns coming out of them, and they begin to wrap around each of you where you stand. And it's a 24 versus your toughness. So what happens is they actually, depending on how severe of a hit that is to you guys.
That's 10 over. It's a bane for me.
So it's a bane for you.
Yeah, absolutely for me too.
Okay.
It's a 1 over.
It's a 1 over for you. Okay, so you're the only one that doesn't take the secondary effect, which is that you actually see, for the two of you, it can't get through his armor because it's on his legs and the scale mail blocks it. But you two have more exposed legs, and the things wrap around your legs, and you literally see what first looks like thorns actually comes to look more like fangs almost, because they latch into you, and you can actually see these black vines becoming gorged, like they're sucking blood out of you, and you can feel that happen, and you see this like negative energy, sort of like this purple energy sort of pulsing along these veins as they're sort of like coming up out of the ground, and you hear at the same time a sort of a cry and shout from the same direction where the voice was coming from, almost as if she's been affected by the same thing. So now we'll go.
Right, so
We'll cut the initiative thing, and we'll just say like that's my turn. So you guys go in whatever order you want to go.
So, did we actually take 10 damage?
Yes, you take 10 damage. You take damage equal to that's a 24 versus your toughness.
How bad are you guys?
I have 8 hit points left.
I have 6 hit points left.
So I will go first, and I will sing a prayer and praise of healing to my companions. So that would be what, disadvantage for the effect 2 of them? Disadvantage 1?
Disadvantage 1. Yes, correct. 2 equal to targets, so disadvantage 2.
Okay.
So it'd be 4d6 plus d20, and keep the low 2. Oh no, you lost the 6. That sucks.
That does suck. So that is a 4.
4.
So
okay.
Is that a 0, or does that go to a D4?
What?
For healing.
For healing, no. You have to hit 12 to heal.
Okay.
So since you rolled a 4,
So
you
it's a
don't.
zilch.
It doesn't have anything.
So is there a way to get out of these tendrils?
Yeah, it's so it follows the same rules as other things, where you're like immobile as a bane as a result. So
Okay.
you just roll d20. We keep things simple in that regards.
He can
Maybe I
teleport out, right?
can.
Yeah, you can
Well,
teleport out
I
automatically.
could just. Oh right, I can't. I can only, as an action, I can teleport him or me essentially.
Yeah, one or the other.
Get yourself
Yeah,
out.
yeah, that's what I'll do.
Okay. Well, it's a move action, so you can actually do both. Because
Oh,
you can use
well,
your major action to what you normally would be a move to do one teleport and then
All
your
right, so
other.
that's a 10.
Yeah, so 10, so you're
I'm
good.
fine.
Yep.
So real quick here, like on here it says favorite attacks and actions.
Those are just like things that sort of make sense for your character. But what do you got?
Heal as a move action.
Oh.
Action roll with advantage.
Oh man, so many typos on this. That's
I thought
you
it might
get-
be a next
yeah,
level
you
thing.
get the boon focus thing next level, and then you would be
Okay.
able to do that. But yeah,
All right, so can I punch this tendril or something? 'Cause I
Yeah, you
take
can
my
attack
move,
it,
take
bite
my move
Bite
action
it.
to get away. So all right,
yeah, you
so,
can definitely get away, and you can attack it.
All right, so that's 15, 21.
21. Okay.
Karate chop in half.
All right. So on a 21, you manage to sever one of the tendrils. There are many, but you sever one of them, and it seems to sort of like shrivel back into the ground, beneath the ground cover.
As a so I teleported as a move.
Yeah.
So minor, I want to look around and see if there's anything that like
Perception.
summon this or something like that.
Perfect. Roll it.
Okay. Not the most. I rolled a 3.
Okay. So on a 3, you're actually you are looking around, and you just don't spot anything.
Can I minor as a perception?
Yeah, you can roll perception as a minor action. Typically, you can do that, or like a knowledge, like a learning check as a minor action in combat if you need to remember
20.
something. 20. So on a 20, you spot just barely the booted toe of somebody that's in a completely different direction. So if the female voice is coming from that direction from you guys, then the booted, you're like looking all around, and you almost miss it because you have to do like a 180 to even get to scan to that point. But you just see behind the tree over there is like this booted toe just peeking out from back there.
Well, as this is a futurist society, like the military terms of check your sex or something.
Yeah.
There's got to be something that would be the equivalent.
Check your. I don't know what that refers to. Sorry. Check your.
The clock.
The clock.
Okay. Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure.
So whatever the equivalent would be, I will
Okay.
shout that out to at least
Yeah.
to these two, and they should hopefully be able to understand.
Yeah. Sure.
As my action, I will teleport behind a tree, like moving in that direction with my pistol. So I'm like hidden, but
Yep.
moving in a direction to maybe be able to shoot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. So. Oh, and you didn't. Yeah, that's right. You didn't need to use the action because he rolled successfully. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So you teleport that direction. That's fine. You're not like you haven't flanked yet, right? Because it's a little bit further than that before you can actually see around the tree. But you're in the right
Heading
direction.
that way. Yep.
Yeah. So did you act already?
I tried healing.
Okay. So next attack. So you guys are like hopeful as you sort of are kind of beginning to split up here. That maybe it's like some focused
It's a radius
area or
thing,
something.
maybe, yeah.
But that seems unfortunately not to be the case, as they literally just spring up wherever you all are going to. Like as you're walking in that direction, they just spring right out of the ground around your feet. Oh no, that is a 5 + 6, 11. So no dice on that
Yes.
attack.
Well, there were dice. They just weren't good ones for you.
So, are there still vines out there?
They are still out there, absolutely.
Okay.
They just fail. As they try to wrap around your leg, you just pull your leg up just in time so that they kind of go and miss. They
Right.
whiff as they try to clamp on your leg.
How close is that booted foot to me?
The booted foot, so you didn't move because you used your move action
correct.
So it's still like, we'll say it's 30 feet that way. He's 15 feet that way, so
All right,
he's
well, then
15 feet away.
I can get 30 feet
yeah,
to her.
sure.
So,
All right. So you get over there, and as you round the corner, you see a deeply cloaked figure with like his back against the wall, and he seems to be like lost in concentration or something like that. Back against the tree, sorry, not the wall. And he seems to be lost in concentration as he sort of like holds his hands in like a weird like focus way, and he just, well, you don't know, of course, sorry, but just anyway, deeply cloaked, you can't see anything, and very dark black robes.
I'm planning to deliver a shot to the nuts.
All right, roll that shot to the nuts.
You miss. It's a chick.
All right, so that one will explode. 15, 23.
Okay, 23. All right, not enough to trigger Bane. But you definitely damage him as you see you break his concentration, and he's not technically stunned, so the effect continues. But it looks like he's kind of reeling from the attack, and
Ruby, can you shut down this magic?
I don't know. Can I?
It's a good question. You can try. You can roll. The thing is, it's just an abjuration roll to give it a shot.
All right. Yeah, that's true. I should try to counter that.
Yeah, this spell would fall under that, I would think.
Yep.
So is that an action I have to use on my turn?
Yeah, on your turn. Mhm.
Okay.
But our
turn order is loose.
Yeah, is it? I think I'm owed a turn. Or no, I did go, and then yeah. So
Yeah,
it's
because
you
it was a
two,
miss.
and then me again. Yep.
Okay, so let me go for this. All right. So we have. So let's keep my best 3.
It's best 2, right? Yeah. You don't have 3.
I have advantage. Oh, unless it's a.
No,
Unless it's
you have
a,
advantage 3. That's
advantage
fine.
3. Yeah.
What you don't have is more than 2d6, so you're keeping the 2.
Yeah, that's true. All right. So, but I do get an explode. So.
Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Oh nope. Chuck Testa. All right. So, 12, 18. That's only an 18 to try to
Okay.
dispel.
An 18, unfortunately, is not enough to dispel this, as whatever effect it is, it seems quite powerful.
So that was my
I am
action.
going to focus and let fly the hammer.
Okay, try to. Now, are you gonna? I guess move. So
No, I'm not moving. I'm throwing it.
well, but remember, in the start, he's behind the tree, and they went and flanked around the tree. So you would have to like go through the tree, right? You know what I mean? So like, if we put it on the board and we just pretend,
no, I see what
then
you're
it's
saying.
like you're here. You know, the guy that you're attacking is the lion. So these guys have come around the tree, which is blocking. So you'd have to move in order to be able to throw or whatever.
I'm
How
also
big
going to
is that
teleport. I'm going to teleport another 15 feet so I can like have good visual as well behind another tree.
Okay, I'll let you attack him with disadvantage if you want to throw the hammer just for effect. But the tree is giving him cover, so you'll have disadvantage.
Okay, but if
So-
I focus, it would...
Then it offsets it. So
Okay,
sure.
so I will do that then.
All right.
All right, so...
That's an explosion. There you go.
All right, so we're at a 5, we're at 11. 14.
14. All right.
Bounces off the tree, I'm thinking.
So if anything epic happens, it'll be recorded for posterity.
14. Okay. So on a 14, your hammer does actually, in fact, hit the tree, and you see like a bunch of the tree gets like chipped away as it like smites through the tree, but it does not connect with the person that you're targeting. So now it's my go again, right?
And I'll call out, behind the tree over yonder.
Nice.
They're not going to like you because you attacked the tree.
11 plus 12. So that is and with a 6, so that's 1 explosion. So 23 plus 2, so 25 versus everybody's
Toughness.
toughness.
Okay, so I take 2.
You take 2. He's down. Oh, the monk goes down. All right, you see the tendrils wrap up around the monk, and you just see them.
Ended his concentration though.
Well, what I meant was like, just flavor-wise, you're heading that direction. But since you didn't stun him, like he didn't actually lose concentration. So you.
Shinju, no!
Oh, I'm guessing Ryan's going down too. 'Cause he has less hit points than I do, and neither of us have been healed. So.
So I guess we'll have to wait and see if he's.
look at
if he's up. What's he at? He's probably down, I guess, right?
Oh yeah, he is.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
All right. So those 2 are down.
So it's
up to the tank to
so
save
I come
the
in
day.
and I will try and enact my magic on the both of them.
Okay. Cool.
And,
so roll heal. So disadvantage 2 for hitting both of them.
All right, so
So it's 4d6. Keep the lowest 2. Come on, d20. Don't fail him now.
20 on the die.
Oh,
So I
now
get rid of the 4.
You get rid of the high ones. Too.
25 versus toughness.
So I have a
I
24
believe you're
so
on the ground.
far
Yeah.
Yep.
and a 16.
Okay.
So that's a 40.
All right. So what we'll do is on a 40, we will we'll give you a power level 6 invocation and 2d8 heal instead of 2d6. Why not?
All
Now
right.
the question is, does that? Are we at 0
You're at
or
0.
Are we, okay.
Yeah. So in Open Legend, you just go to 0. We don't do negatives.
12.
It's simple. Actually, that exploded, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah.
12 plus 4.
12.
So you're at
16.
16. All right. So you guys are back up for now.
I'm almost a fool.
I'm only down 2.
How about that?
Blessed Trinity, bring back my companions.
Nice. You guys were resurrected from the dead.
So then, does that mean we now can act?
Sure. You have to use your move to stand up, but yeah.
Or you could just teleport, because that's what I'll do.
Yeah, that's fine.
So, and I guess I would have moved around.
Yeah,
tree.
that's fine if you want to. It's up to you. Your call.
Yeah, so throwing the hammer through the tree didn't work out so well.
It's not so good. Only a 13.
Okay. What were we gonna say? 13?
So
Okay.
I, previous round,
Yeah.
teleported to be in a better vantage point to be able to shoot him.
Okay.
A pistol from the ground. Is there terrible disadvantage from shooting?
Yeah, we'll say you don't have
projectile weapon?
disadvantage for shooting a pistol from the ground. That's fine.
Okay, so I'll focus shot,
Okay.
right? So
Advantage
that's
one.
going to be 2d8.
2d8. Yeah.
plus. All right. So let me see if I can have one effectual attack
in this whole
and this is a whole
session.
shebang.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can explode some dice or something. All right. So that is a 1 on the d20, and so that's a 10. So the dice
It's
got.
just not meant to
or
be.
no, that's a 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
7 total. Just not meant to be, unfortunately, as you're you're
Break my wrist with a weird angle of the shot.
No, the kickback while you're lying down, you're like this, and the kickback takes it, and the gun falls like behind you as you have to like reach back to get it next round.
All right.
You're not meant for shooting.
He's just not meant for that pistol. Was,
Ruby tries so hard.
It's that pistol's like rusted or something because you never use it. And now you're just getting all this action and it's not working out. So next up is I guess we'll go with Shinju.
I hit AC or I.
Oh, you
attacked
rolled 13. That's right. Okay. Yes. You actually you come in and you sort of like kick over the guy's head, and he sort of ducks under and like sweeps your foot. So we'll just knock you down as well. And he's going to on his
and
turn,
he takes your lunch money.
he takes your lunch money. That's right. On his turn, you see him blink out of, and you don't see where he goes. As he just, and it's his teleportation. I mean, you can identify it immediately because you do it all the time. He teleports, and you don't see where he is right now.
Alright, so I will stand as a move action, minor action, perception check.
Sure, yeah.
That's a natural.
Critted and exploded the other.
Whoa, D8 and a D20 both explode. Wow.
So that's a 31, 35.
Okay. Well, how about that? Is there another fig that I'm not using the here?
You could be the boar.
Anything other than the lion?
person?
All right, this is good. We'll have him. So he.
There you go.
That's cool. Nice. He so he moves 1, 2, 3, 4. So he's over here. So there's another tree right here, and he teleports behind it. So we'll have this.
All right, so
This die represents the tree that he's behind there.
So I will call out. I don't have the ability to move to him, but
Okay. You point out the direction. All right, fair enough. Actually, I forgot that's actually just my minor, so I can still attack you guys. Forgot about that part. Sorry. So that is a 10 plus. We're back. Keep going back and forth on this. So that is a 25 plus. Oh, 31 plus. Oh, 36. Is that like a one-shot KO on anybody here?
Yep. That'll do it.
36 minus 14. That's 22. Yeah, I'm done.
All right. Back down as 36. Does that finally does some damage to your
It
character?
does, and that's definitely a bane.
Okay.
Because that's wait a minute, 36.
36.
Yeah, so it does 13 to me.
Okay.
12.
So
24, right?
23.
23. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So a bane is triggered, and what we're gonna do? I think what time is it? 5:30. Yeah. So what we'll do is the bane I'm gonna trigger, the one that the big guns that I never bring in, incapacitated, knocking you unconscious from the sheer trauma of all the damage, we sort of fade to black, and we'll leave on the cliffhanger not just that you fade to black, but rather that you all wake up bound and by a bunch of chains, and standing in front of you, you see a very familiar symbol. And at first, you guys are like, "What the hell?
Holy Trinity.
What the hell is it?" And actually, you are very much the first one to know, though, because it's actually is a religious order, not yours, though.
Okay.
There's this group from Schlechtenberg, and they are called the Voices of the Light. And what they do is they're incredibly feared, and your character's order is very suspicious about them because they're known as like prophets, and so they will predict events, but they only do so like every so often. It's kind of very rare that this happens, but when they say something or predict something that's going to happen, they kind of have like a track record with 100% accuracy. And so they are, so why you would see as he sort of like leaned over you, like sort of like, you know, I don't know, he's splashing you with water to bring you conscious after you've been knocked out and stuff like that. You see this same symbol just sort of hang from his neck as it dangles in front of your face, and why they would be here is just totally beyond you, and you can read the campaign setting to know why.
With that, I just cursed. Voices of the light.
Voices of the light, curses.
So with that, I hope you guys enjoyed our play test, our first session of
Our crippling defeat.
Open Legends.
Open Legends RPG. You can check out the website in the description below.
Yep.
And until next time,
Stay
Dirty. Cool. So,
Is there any sort of, since I'm probably versed in magics and that's my principal study, is there any sort of abjuration of non-detection that I can put about the camp?
Sure. I think non-detection, I think, is one of those things that I haven't quantified, but you can just roll an abjuration roll. That's fine.
Okay, sure. So that's a d20 plus 2d6.
Yep.
And hopefully this doesn't go wrong and I open a portal to a demon. Alright, which it looks a little tits up here, so it's
You've created a beacon.
that's 13.
13. Well, 13 is sort of...
Middling.
Middling, exactly. So, with a 13, you are able to... you believe that you've masked, and the question will just be how... sort of like how powerful or perceptive someone else might be.
Like a panther.
Yeah, like
Perhaps.
a panther, exactly. But you think that you've created something of a shroud, magical shroud around you guys. So
looking to, you know, blur the visions and sense that are...
Yep. Well, I mean, some of that would be illusion, but yeah. Anyway, there's like not noticing, right?
Creating
You know
a
what I mean?
veil.
So yeah. But anyway, that's cool. We're good. So you guys, so what happens as you set up a watch? So I feel like in role playing games, always the watch thing gets a little bit like tired. So
Overblown,
we'll skip over that for now. But you guys set a watch, and that's fine. And what happens though is as each of you is on watch that night, the thing that you notice is. You know, whenever you end up talking to Dave's character, you're able to sort of sync up and get more understanding about this. But basically, you recognize the same kind of that green energy that you saw, like in the weave through your spiritual senses or something. It actually, you almost see like little flickers of it. Kind of like a firefly or something like that, but not, because it's not shaped like a bug. It's almost like a little flash of light here and there, and you just see these kind of like pop off, not regular, you know, like every 10 minutes, 20 minutes, not something that's happening like multiple times a minute or anything like that.
Right. Since a lot of this is going on spiritually, and
yeah,
you know, my
but this is
character-
actually not though. This particular thing I've just described is something that you see. So what I was saying is you guys also see it, but then he can relate to you. I meant the green color and the connection to the weave and stuff like that.
But while we're
I can tell you that woman, that lady of the
A
forest,
child?
she's no child. She is much older than she appears, and she is important in this place. I cannot tell you how, but I know she is.
Nice.
Cosmetic applications.
Bonus points for being right without knowing it. All right. Cool. So what are you guys doing?
So
Continue with the mission.
I just want to follow the soldier's trail.
All right. So you guys continue on the trail, and you find as you're sort of continuing on, you find, and again, it was getting towards dusk, we said. So this is like kind of twilight when you saw her.
So we
and
should
that's
be looking to set a camp, essentially.
Exactly. Yep.
Well, I know based on the manuals that I've read of how one would theoretically do that. So I will set my tent and such in such a way that I've been instructed once we find adequate place or a place by described by the manuals what one might choose.
I will basically sit with my back to a tree, kind of stretch out, my hammer across my lap, my helm at my hip, and I will call forth through the power of creation a small, humble meal that I may partake of.
Nice.
The bread of the Blessed Trinity, and I offer to any who are willing or interested in being nourished both body and soul.
I'll take a pass on your triumvirate. I'll eat some of the rations I brought with me. Thank you very much.
I will have no problem sampling the bread. There are many different paths to enlightenment.
There you go. All right.
So I'll actually,
that is a thing. Oh, go ahead. What were you saying?
I said my plan was, since he's tent on the ground, he's got a back against the tree. I'm actually gonna go up into the tree and like weave a netting in between some of the branches.
Perfect.
And that is one thing. I will pick a tree that like I'm within, so I can only teleport within 15 feet. So put my tent somewhere that like I can teleport 15 feet straight up if need be.
Yeah. So. Yep, that makes sense. Cool. And to put a note on it, there is a boon called Genesis for creating matter out of nothing. So you actually can do that. What you said is actually a rule. Just throwing it out there for not that it affects anything about it. You know what I mean? So you can create plant matter and that sort of thing and food.
And receive as well.
There are many things that your Trinity claims that are on the path to enlightenment. I am just not certain that it is the direct path.
Well, each to his own. In the afterlife, we shall know the truth. I do not judge.
Oh man, I love it. All right. So
I'm in there in my tent reading a book, rolling my eyes out of my skull.
How did I get stuck with these two?
Freaking religious freaks. Yeah.
Oh man. Alrighty. So you guys. So that's the evening. And so one other thing that I'll add, and you guys all sort of tag team this in terms of your observation and sharing between watches when you make the change and stuff like that. The green lights that you sort of spot, it takes a little while to notice, but you ultimately do that. Very strangely, they seem to come in pairs, and you feel like their eyes actually. It's something that develops over time, over the night, as you're sort of each adding information. When you eventually become like almost on edge, waiting to see a set of them so that you can like spot it before it sort of blinks out.
So does it add to that sensation of feeling like we're being watched that we've had
absolutely
like, a day ago? Yeah.
Absolutely. So you can roll divination. Is that what you're going to say? Or?
Well, that, and I get the impression that this is at Uther's perception that it is actually the lady of the jungle watching over us, and it actually makes me feel better.
Yep.
With the 13.
You actually, even though 13 is not a great roll, you actually already are inclined in that way, and you, from what you can tell from the spiritual energy about the thing, remember that before the weave has a sort of positive association, and then there was this sort of like negative. I think I might have said red at the time.
Yeah, you said red.
Yeah, but I think it should be more like a weird like purple color.
Okay.
Like sort of like a, imagine how like necromantic energy is often like purple or something like that. And so that remembering that there's a positive and a negative, knowing that the eyes are green and that they connect with then the positive side, you're pretty confident in your assumption about that. So your divination roll confirms what you already think as far as you can tell. So
that happened.
So we've met some of the natives apparently, and apparently they're not all hostile.
It's true.
This one only immediately appeared to be curious.
But the question remains: is how might we communicate if we do not share a language?
There are those that are powerful in the ways of magic that could probably transcend this barrier. I'm afraid I cannot. I was able to reach out to her from spirit to spirit, but that's not the same as conveying words.
Well,
This is true. Much conflict has arisen from misunderstood meanings.
and what will happen? What happens right now in the midst of this moment where you feel like you're growing in your attunement? We're going to, and this is a one shot. I've done this in long-term campaigns, although it would be a thing that's very rare. We'll give you a permanent free bonus to your divination so that you're more in tune. So you can make your divination 2 now instead of 1. Yep. So anyway, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
No problem. So that means from a D4 to a D6?
Yep.
Excellent.
So we're still looking more along the trail then of our compatriots,
Yep.
and I will return to the task at hand as far as that goes.
Cool.
I will
It is a
return my
shame.
helm to my head.
Next time we encounter something like that, ask of our numbers. You seem to have a better handle of being able to communicate with that thing than any of us.
I was not able to convey such complex messages. It was more of a general sense of goodwill between fellow travelers, I'm afraid.
Well, that-
Almost like one would communicate with an animal. You cannot speak to an animal, but you can convey your intent. You can read its intent.
Noted of animal intelligence.
You definitely sensed to be a little more did specific. Go ahead.
Did she speak at all?
She did not speak at all. To be a little more specific about her intention, since you could feel it through the weave, you could sense that she was very curious. She also felt like you got this feeling that while she seemed by physical appearance to be like 10 or 12 years old, you got a feeling that she almost had like a very like motherly sort of, and that's obvious because of how the animals kind of flocked to her, but almost like bigger than just the animals, right? You had this sense that she was like this almost matriarch, is that you got that vibe, in an inexplicable kind of a way or something like that.
Camping and resting and whatnot. Like, it's not just set up camp and sleep. There's time to kill and what have you.
Yep.
And my character is almost as spiritual as Uthin.
Yep.
So I wanted to get into a conversation and see, not like, try to persuade him or have him try to persuade me,
Sure.
but see if using our combination of knowledge of creation magic and
Sure.
what have you,
Sure.
if there's anything that we might be able to do together, or how he can show me some of the stuff that he's seen and done
Sure.
within here.
Are you trying to understand or for your character to gain the knowledge that he has or create something new? Like, I'm not sure about
Is
that
this a
part.
Vulcan mind meld happening?
Yeah.
Is that where we're going?
Clearly he has gained some kind of advantage here
Yeah.
by his understanding.
Yep.
I want to see if I can tap into that.
Okay, cool. All right, so what we'll do is we'll have you roll, and what we'll do is, because this is a weird thing where you're sort of starting at 0, and so for the supernatural attributes, this is an interesting thing about the game, is that the non-supernatural attributes you can roll even if you don't have any
I have
ranks.
creation 4.
Yeah, so hold on,
Okay.
I'm getting to that.
Oh, sorry.
So what I mean is, creation is the ability to sort of output energy, but what you're looking for, the thing is that he has divination and you don't. But what we're going to do is we're going to have you roll perception, and this perception roll is going to determine the gateway, because what I'm going to do is, if you succeed, you'll also gain a rank in divination. You'll gain one attribute in divination. So go ahead and roll. It's going to be hard though, because it's not easy for your character to bridge from no experience with the supernatural perception into it, but you have the advantage of your perception. So 7. So on a 7, tonight
you know, you can kind of repeat this, obviously, but today you try, and it's like a very hard barrier to go from natural perception into supernatural perception. And so even with Dave's guidance, you're not able to accomplish it this night. You spend most of your night meditating and attempting to, and you feel like, you know, given more time, you'll be close to some kind of a breakthrough or something like that.
Or a level.
Yeah.
A level.
Yeah.
What is
Nailed
your
it.
character's name again?
Shinjin.
Shinjin. Shinjin, no worries. It will come with time. You must open yourself to the Blessed Trinity. That is what has allowed me to merge with this world more completely, by opening myself up as a conduit to the Blessed Trinity. So it's love and benignness can flow into this world and flow